guys, welcome back to my show here. This is Nelzon. If you've been here before, you know who I am. For those who haven't, I talk about money on this particular show here. Anything from finance to credit to real estate. And in this particular video, I'm getting right to it with when you're buying a used car, what questions to ask and what to expect when you walk into that dealership, okay? So, quick story on me purchasing a car. I went and bought a used car, and basically there's two things that you got to look at, okay? You know, obviously we're on the internet. I spent months on the internet before I bought the car, researching every detail about the model, make, year, everything about the car, okay? The pricing is the main thing that I looked at based on mileage, the year, things like that. So I really wanted to have a good gauge on what I'm looking for, if the price is right, things like that, right? So there's two things. Now, you can always go to a dealership that's basically a name brand, all right? Someone that, like AutoNation, for example, or a bigger company, okay? Now, typically these bigger companies, right, they're a little safer because they have like what they call their certified check, right? So, you know, when you buy the car, it'll be either tuned up already, or they'll let you know when the last tune-up was. They'll have, you know, if the tires are bald, they'll have new tires on them. You know, brakes, brake pads, you know, things of that nature. They're going to take care of like those particular small details, which are huge because they cost money. Okay, at the end of the day, you're buying a used car and it's got wear and tear. Well, when I walk up to the car, I want to make sure that that sucker's not torn up, you know? So when you go to a bigger dealership, you're a little safer there. You know, they have, you know, the certified, they got the no haggle thing, you know, this is the price. So you really got to do your research on the line to make sure that, you know, based on the, you know, the model, make, and the mileage and the condition of the car, that it fits right there. You can look on kbb.com. You can look on Napa, you know, .com, NAPA.com. You could go on TrueCar.com. Those are three websites that I would suggest you take a look at when you're looking at a car, to kind of base the average of what people bought that car at in your particular zip code. TrueCar is probably the most advanced one I've seen online. Really good, really good. It tells you what people paid for the car in your particular zip code. Typically what, you know, they give you the low, middle, and then the high end range, and it kind of gives you a gauge on, you know, whether or not it's a new car or a used car. They could tell you basically in that zip code, you know, who bought what and for how much. Okay, so TrueCar.com is definitely one that I suggest you go to. But getting right into this, right? So that's when you're going with a dealership that's well known, got a name brand. Now, what if you know, you go to a dealership that's, you know, one of these corner shop dealerships, right? Mom and pop, little ones on the side there, but they got a particular car that you've been driving by, past, you know, going on your way to work, you see it in the morning, and then on the way back home from work, you see it again. And you're sitting there saying, I'm gonna go in there and check that car out, man. You know, it says 17, right? You know, on the windshield there, but then you find out it's a 2016 or a 2015, okay? So you definitely gotta look for the VIN number, all right? And you wanna make sure that it's online, okay? But either way, when you go to the dealership, you know, you open the door, it's typically right there, or, you know, when you open the hood, it should be the VIN number there, right? And you can do your check through that, okay? So you want to make sure that you want to have questions to ask. So let's say you go to that dealership, right, on the corner, all right? Well, you want to make sure, when was the last time the oil was changed? You want a date. What about a tune-up? That's where they change the spark plugs. Typically, the air filters, inside and outside. They change all the filters, things like that. They call that the tune-up period or the tune-up. You want to know when the last tune-up was. Okay. What about the tires? That's a given. You go see the car in person, take a look. You can do the penny check. And if you don't know what the penny check is, basically you get a penny and you put it in between the groove, and depending on where the tread lies, based on the Abraham Lincoln, the head or of the penny, you'll find out what the usage is on that. So look at the tires. How new or old are they? New or old? And if they're going to change them or not, okay? Then you look at the price based on your research when you're walking in there. These are the questions you definitely want to ask. When was the last time the oil was changed? When was the last time the tune-up? And you can obviously look at the tires, okay? Now, besides the sales guy, talking his game to you, you want to make sure that they answer these questions. If they can't answer these questions, or they say something like, well, you're buying the car as is. That's good and bad, because now you have leverage, because you can't answer these questions. This particular car, the oil change costs this much. Tune-up costs this much. Tires would cost this much, okay? So now you have leverage power, okay, if they say as is, okay? You also want to ask them, what's their warranties? I drive off the lot, what's the warranty? Okay? You want to know what the warranty is, okay? Oh, 30 days, 60 day, 90 day, okay? You want to have at least a 90-day warranty. Or maybe, give or take, you want to know that you got some time there when you're driving to work and the car doesn't fall apart, or something happens, or you don't know until you get the feel of the car, and typically it'll take maybe a week or so before you know that. And then you also want to ask, what's the return, their return policy. Ask that. What's their return policy? 5 days, 300 miles, like AutoNation is 5 days, 250 miles, no questions asked, right? You go to a mom and pop shop, they may be like, well, we don't have that, or whatever they're going to say to you. But you definitely want to ask that question, okay? What to expect. Let's say you want the car, you test drove it, everything's beautiful, your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your partner, your kids, whatever, we love it. Okay, got that emotional attachment, hold on to that, okay? I'm not going to get into a sales video here, but I will tell you this. You always want to negotiate your first bid, right? Somewhere around, with a used car, you want to be around 7 to 8% under MSRP, okay? Well, that's kind of like when you go to True Car, let's say, they value that car with that much mileage in this condition at this price, okay? You always want to go, you want to end up at 7 and 8, but start at 13 to 12, percent below what they're asking. So if the car is like, let's say 22,000, you want to start somewhere around, I would suggest, give or take, could be anywhere from 13 to 15% off what they're asking. Okay, so you take that number and multiply it by that percentage. In this case, 22 grand, 13% of that is about roughly, let's say 3,000, right? So you want the car for what? 19,000, right? So you say, I'll give you 18.5 for the car. See what the salesman says. Get out of here, go fly a kite. All right, no problem. Great. So then you can say something like, well, I guess you don't want to talk to your finance manager, you don't want to talk to a manager, then you're not trying to sell this car to me. That's fine too. I got excellent credit. I'll find another car. No worries. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day. Shake his hand and then be on your way. Now, two things can happen. Now, you may really, really want the car, right? Or you may not. You walk off the lot, no problems. You know, some days these guys don't want to sell nothing. You know, it might be the first part of the month. They don't want to sell anything. So the best time to go buying a used car, or a new car for that matter, is go towards the end of the month. Okay, they got to hit their quotas. You know, every month they're on cycles, so they got to hit their quotas. So you might want to come in there like probably the 3rd to the 3.5 week of the month. You know, maybe meet them, say your price. If they say no, go fly a kite, walk away. They got your contact info. They're going to hit you back right around the end of the month if they don't sell that car, because they need to sell it, and they will give you the deal then. Okay? But remember, always ask these questions. Okay? Now, what to expect real quick. When you finally run your credit and you start going through the paperwork, they're going to get you to sign all these, you know, documents. Your main document you want to sign, or let me say not sign, but you want to look at. It's almost it's basically where all the settlement charges are. Okay, dealer fee, you know, this fee, that fee, whatever have you. Okay, now typically at the end is when they hit you with the warranties. Well, we have this warranty, this dealer warranty, dealership warranty. You know, we'll give you 10, you know, oil changes and, you know, this and that, or 5 oil changes, or up to 40,000 miles and things like that. Now, if you can afford to do the oil change yourself, don't pay that ridiculous amount that they're asking, because they always upcharge it. Okay, they have a drivetrain warranty. Something goes wrong with the engine. Now, listen to me. Only if the car, let me tell you, cars right now, I don't care what the hell model you're trying to get, anything under 100,000 miles, typically these cars are built to last up to 100,000 miles. Yeah, once you get to certain stages, depending on the usage and things like that, they will break down, but you don't have to worry about the engine blowing or the drivetrain, or I've owned like tons of cars. None of these things ever went wrong like that. Okay, but they're gonna sell you that it could go wrong because it's a used car. Don't fall into that hype, because what they're gonna do is charge you another $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on top of what you're already financing. Okay, just to get the loan higher. All right, and they're gonna add all this scratch and dent and oil changes and tire rotation BS. Don't fall for anything. What I do suggest that you go for, and I'll write this in red ink here, definitely take their gap insurance. Okay, definitely take your gap insurance, especially the fact that it's a used car. That's it. That's it. Take the gap insurance, the rest, you know, finance or whatnot. I will tell you this real quick tip. When you're buying a car, you have excellent credit, you know you can get the car basically with no money down, right? But they got to make money off you. How do they do that? Interest. You're right. So someone like me, I got excellent credit, I bought a car, they still hit me with a 7% interest rate. You know why? Because I didn't want to put any money down. I'm like, finance that, tax, title, tag, all that crap, finance that crap. I'm good with it. Because when you look at the numbers, it doesn't make a difference. 25 bucks here, 30 bucks here, whatever. So to me, like, money in my pocket, I can leverage and use it for other things. You know, that's power, okay? So now if you want a lower interest and a lower payment, you got the money to spare, sure. Put $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 down, okay? The banks feel more comfortable that you got skin in the game. They have payments already collected. If you default, they'll take the car anyway, and they made money. So they're more than willing to give you a lower interest rate, especially if you got good credit. Okay, now if you got terrible credit, this is a whole different conversation we're having. Okay, you're just gonna have to take it. Sorry, but that's a whole nother video. But I just wanted to tell you, when buying a used cars, make sure you have these questions that you ask: what to expect, what not to expect. Well, I didn't go into that, but definitely as far as that, do your research. Get the gap insurance, okay? Especially if it's a used car. And stay tuned for some more videos. Don't forget to hit that like button and definitely subscribe. This helps the algorithm and all that good stuff. And I hope this helps somebody. And next video, stay tuned.